Hello and welcome everyone to this video on using the Web Dynpro component controller by ZaranTech. But before we begin, make sure to subscribe to our ZaranTech YouTube channel and hit the bell icon to never miss any update from us.
Hello and welcome to this in-depth guide on using Web Dynpro component controller. Today we will explore the heart of Web Dynpro application, that is component controller. The component controller is a crucial part of Web Dynpro framework. It acts as a central hub for managing data and controlling the flow of your application and ensuring seamless interaction between different parts of your Web Dynpro component. In this video, we will cover everything you need to know about effectively using the component controller. We will start with an overview of its role and why it is important in your Web Dynpro applications. First, we will talk through how to create and access component controller. We will learn how to define context node and attributes within the component controller, which serve as a data model for your application. Next, we will discuss how to bind these context nodes and attributes to UI elements in your view. This is an essential for displaying data and handling user interaction across different views within your component. So let's get started and unlock the full potential of component controller in Web Dynpro. So let's go to our SAP GUI, and here you have to come and go to SC80 transaction. And then you have to choose Web Dynpro component and interfaces, and you have to create an application ZWD. Let's name it comp, and you will get a pop-up because we do not have any already existing Web Dynpro component with the same name, so we can create a new one. So click on yes, give a description, component controller, and give name to window v underscore main, w underscore main, and name for view is v underscore main, and create it. And store in a local object or your package, whatever storage location you want to store your application, and click on your component and activate it before using it. So let it activate. So let's go to our component controller and see what functionality which we get in component controller. So first we will go to properties. Here you will be seeing the description, created by, created on, last change by, and created on, change on, basic properties of an component controller, by whom it is created and when it is created and when it is last changed. Next tab is context. We have already discussed context as act as a variable or a data storage part in your Web Dynpro component. It can act as both internal table and work area, and it can also be used as a variable to store data and transport to your UI element. Next is attribute section. In this, you get two attributes by default present in this, WD context and WD underscore this. WD context, as description mentioned, it is used for local controller context, and WD this is used to refer the local controller interface. If you want to refer something in this controller that is already present, then you can use WD this. And if you want to use any global variable or global context, then you need to use WD underscore context. Next is event. Whenever you will create any event in this component controller, all the events will be shown here. Till now we haven't created any event, so it is not showing here. The next is method. So these are the five methods already present in our Web Dynpro component controller. Let me show what these method means. So yeah, first was WD init. This method is called immediately and only after the instantiation of the controller. Here you should implement that statement data initializing the controller. Means in the WD init, whatever things you need, you want to be created at the start of your application. Means as soon as the application start and what actions do you need to perform at that time. All those related code and logic should be written in WD init. And next comes our new method WD exit. This method is called at the end of the controller lifetime and should be used for executing closing statement. In WD exit, if you want to clear any internal table or work area or something related work which you do not want to use Later on, you can write those logic in WD do exit. Next is WD do application on state change. In SAP Web Dynpro for ABAP is triggered when the application state changes, along for navigation handling, state dependent logic execution, data refresh, error handling, and session management. So all these type of logic are written in WD on application state change method. Our fourth method is WD do before navigation. In this method, if you want to check any condition before navigating to another view or another part of your Web Dynpro component, all the navigation logic or the checks are written in WD before navigation, and WD do post processing. In this method is used to for exception handling and supply function method. With this method, no more changes should be made to the context. In WD post processing, you can also write the logic of supply function. Supply function is the part in when you present when you are creating context node. It is present there, and supply function are used to provide default values to your UI elements. So let's go back to our logon, and let's go and create some context here. Let me create a context. We will let me first make it in a change mode, and I will go and create a context node. Let the node name be VBAK and dictionary structure be VBAK. And I'm not changing the cardinality because I will use this context node in our container form. And let me add attributes from the structure. VBLN, ER date, ERZET, ER name. So these are our context node, and let me recreate it, or let me remove it first. I will not add VBLN in this. I will add VBLN in a context attribute. I will create node same as I have created before, VBAK, but I will not add VBLN, ER name. I've used these three fields. And I can also create context attribute here. Let me create context attribute, and attribute will be VBELN, VBAK, VBELN. So we have created a context node which has three fields: ERDAT, ERZET, ER name, and we have created a context attribute which named as VBELN. So yeah, we have created this. Now let's go to our view and see what is happening here. Let's go to our view and let's log in here and go to a context. See, the context which we have created in a component controller is showing here. Earlier, we were creating local context by clicking on here, context v underscore main, on clicking on a view. Now we are using the global context. Means how many we can have n number of views, and we can use this context node and context attribute in all the views. So the main purpose of using component controller is like if you want to use a context node or context attribute or the methods multiple time, means if you want reusability in your component, then you can create context node, context attribute, and methods in your component controller, because component controller is present at the top of the hierarchy, and it controls all the views and windows. So any method or any context node and attribute created in component controller can be accessed in all part of the application, and it is global to complete application. So for using this context node in our this view, what we have to do is we have to click on this and drag this and drop it to our context here. See, we have dropped it, and now you are able to see a small arrow here showing that we are using the global context here. And we can similarly we can drag and drop our context attribute also. Let me again drag and drop it. I think mapping is not possible. It is showing. Let me drag and drop it here. Action is cancelled. I guess only one. Let me first remove it and then see. Okay, for mapping for context attribute is not possible here. We can map context node only here. So yeah, let's activate it and go to our layout, insert element. What we have to insert is we want to insert container form, context, and we have entered the context. We have created the container form here, and let's activate it. And go to our methods, and here we will use our WD do init. Let's see what happens here. Let's select single from VBAK, select single star. Firstly, what we will do is, let me stop this and firstly go here. Okay, I think our remote desktop has been stopped due to some reason. Let me go again and connect it. Firstly, we will be using this set operation. And here what we will be doing is select star from, select single star from VBAK into corresponding fields of ls VBAK up to 10 rows. There may be chances of getting error because uh, we are not using VBLN here. I think we are again logged out from our application. Let me log in again. Due to some technical issue, might be facing this. Up to 10 rows. And let me check if we have any error. Up to, okay, we are using select single and also up to 10 rows. We can select only one record here. And let's check it and activate it. And we have abandoned this LSVPAK here. And let's go to our application and create new application. And we will be not giving description here. You can give description according to your choice. And we will store in this local object only. And we will go and test it. I hope this will be working because we haven't selected VBLN, and VBLN is the primary key of VBAK table. So there might be chances we may get error, but let's check it that it is working or not. Okay, we have got one record from our table. We are not getting any error. The first record from our table has been passed here, and that's it. We have used component controller and we have learned about creating context in component controller, context node and context attribute. We have also discussed about attributes of component controller and events of component controller, and also methods of component controller, what this method means, and we have created a view and used context node here in our view. And we have also created an application it, and we have ran it in our browser, and we are getting some response here. So that's all for this video. We have covered component controller in Web Dynpro. We will see you in the next video.